right, so week 3 is down the drain, and there's 5 teams that are remaining undefeated. All right, so out of these 5 teams, me and Jared are going to tell y'all which ones are contenders and which ones are pretenders. So I'm gonna call out a team, and me and Jared gonna let you know which one is which. All right, so first, the Kansas City Chiefs are 3-0. Jared, are they a contender or pretender?
Contender. I mean, we all know how the Chiefs are, and they have Patrick Mahomes. They're going to get better as the season progresses. So I'll say contender.
Same contender. They don't look good right now, but with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, you can't think that this is going to happen the rest of the year. At some point, they're gonna turn up. And like I said, you look at the glass half empty or half full. Some people would say, well, they don't look good. So I'm gonna say they're a pretender, but then some people can say, well, they're 3-0 and they don't look good. So they're a contender. All right. Next, we got the Bills. The Bills are 3-0. Contender or pretender?
Pretender. I don't think. I know it's gonna be a shocker, but I just don't think that the Buffalo Bills team itself is just outside of Josh Allen is good enough to go deep into the playoffs or even try to contend for a Super Bowl. That's just me.
Well, I'm gonna go with contender. I wasn't sold on this team in the offseason either, but when I look around the AFC, they can definitely be that fifth seed. I believe Jets will win that division, but they can definitely be that fifth seed and be a problem in the playoffs. So Josh Allen right now is being Superman. Remember we said on the I believe it was the episode we did our MVP and I think it was the NFL Vault. We said Josh Allen has to be Superman for them to win this division or for them to even be in contention with anything. And he has been Superman. That defense has not taken a step back. Khalil Shakir stepped up. Keon Coleman finally found the end zone the other night. Dalton Kincaid is there. James Cook is playing really good this year. So there's no reason to believe that they're pretenders. I was wrong about them going into the season. I think they are a contender. All right, next we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, pretender or contender?
Contender. The way that defense is playing like the best defense in the league, and they can still get better in some parts of defensively and offensively. We're just coming along, and Justin Fields, he's looking comfortable, and so I think that we're going to be contenders.
I'm gonna go with contenders as well. Look, I said last week, in the last episode we did, I said start Russ immediately. Well, unfortunately, Russ will not be a starter this year, and it's because Justin Fields has gotten better every single week. Like last year with Kenny Pickett, real quick, I said I'm gonna give him 5 weeks to get better, which means however he played in week 1, I want to see a difference by week 5. This year, Justin Fields has got. We saw week 1, he got better in week 2. Then he got better in week 3. And it can only go up from here. Mike Tomlin saying that he's not going to name him QB1 is to keep that fire lit under him. He doesn't want him to get comfortable. He doesn't want him to think that, okay, I got to start a spot, I can relax now. No, keep playing the way you playing. He's getting better. Like you said, the defense only allowing 8.6 points per game, basically 9 points per game. This team, the Steelers are legit. And me and Jerry tried to tell y'all this offseason that they're probably going to win this division. And that's how it looks right now. All right, next we got the Vikings. So heading up to the NFC, we have the Vikings at 3-0, contenders or pretenders.
That's a tough one. It's really a tough one. But I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna say contenders. I'm gonna say contenders. That Brian Flores defense, it looks amazing. I mean, it definitely looks like a top 5 to top 3 defense in the league right now. We saw what they did to Houston, got a lot of pressure on C.J. Stroud and made it hard for him. And if they can do that in the NFC, I mean, there's not a lot of scary teams in the NFC right now. So if they can do that in the NFC as the season continues, they can definitely make a push. And then Sam Darnold playing some of the best football of his life. And he has Justin Jefferson, and they have formed a connection, and he seems to just find him every single play, and so I really do think that they can be contenders.
I gotta go pretenders. So with the Chiefs, we just said that they're not playing good right now, so we can only expect Patrick Mahomes to pick it up throughout the year, right? Because of prior knowledge of Patrick Mahomes. Because of my prior knowledge of Sam Darnold, I cannot expect him to keep this up the rest of the year. I just can't. I'd rather bet my money and be wrong, right? And he just keep playing good versus bet my money on him playing good and he ends up showing us who he really is.
But
You
we
know what
know
I'm saying? So,
we know we know what situations you're judging him based off of. I mean, the same situation that Bryce Young's in currently. Then he got drafted to the Jets, who were a terrible, god awful organization at the time. So I'm not gonna judge him. I realized with him and Baker Mayfield, we cannot judge them based off of their past if they're looking great right now. And he's looking great right now. So I'm gonna ride with that. Like I said, they got Justin Jefferson and their defense. Sometimes whenever Sam Darnold has a game where he's not playing like he is, their defense can definitely step up from what I've seen so far.
Yes, I completely understand what you're saying, but Sam Darnold right now is playing great. Right now, low key, if we had an MVP for right now, he could be a candidate to be MVP. I'm not taking nothing from him right now, but I cannot expect him to keep this level of play up for the rest of the year. That's just me. And like I said, I'll be wrong. Let me be wrong, but I'm gonna bet my money on what I believe he is, which is not as good as he's showing right now. Like he's not a, I wouldn't say he's trash, but he's not what he is right now. So I want to see what happens when that play, when he comes back down to earth a little bit. Because right now he has like 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Like that's a really good ratio for Sam Darnold, right? He's on pace for a great year. I don't think that's going to continue. So I just have to believe that at some point he'll come back down to earth. Then how would a team look? Like you said, Brian Flores and that defense look really good. You got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison hurt. He coming back from injury. You got Aaron Jones. I got it, but I just can't bet my money on Sam Darnold. All right. The next and last team, final team for the 3-0 teams is the Seahawks. Contenders or pretenders?
Pretenders, they're pretenders. I mean, I don't think it has to be explained. They're pretenders. I just don't think that they have a roster that's good. Yeah, you have JSN, you have DK Metcalf, Geno Smith is playing good. You got Kenneth Walker, who's been battling injuries early on, but you know that hopefully he can get healthy and play throughout the rest of the season. But I just don't think I just don't think that they're good enough. I think this is one of those teams that they're 3-0 right now, and then eventually the losses are going to catch up with their wins, and eventually they're going to have a 500 record, and they're barely going to finish above 500.
Yeah. They've beaten the Dolphins without Tua, who I don't think they was good with Tua anyways. They've beaten the Broncos and they've also beaten the Patriots. All right. I cannot say they're contenders because I don't think their defense is that good. It's the difference with the Steelers, right? People might say, well, y'all ain't play nobody. Steelers ain't play nobody either. But I know that defense is elite. I don't know that this Seahawks defense is elite because they have not played a good offense yet. I just haven't seen it, right? And then offensively, can Geno Smith, like we said, we know what his ceiling is. Can I don't think that there's any more left. I think he's shown us what he is. And I think that that's going to cause him not to be a contender when it comes down to the thicker things. So I'm going to just, once again, bet my money on my prior knowledge, and I'm going to say that they are pretenders, all right? But speaking of pretenders, let's go ahead down to Cincinnati, where they just fell 0-3 on Monday night, losing to the Commanders 38-33. Jared, is the Bengals season over?
It is. It's over. I would say it's over. Let's just be honest. Their defense is terrible. Defense is god awful. I mean, we saw it week one. We thought, maybe it's just week one. It's a little rusty, and they let Ramondre Stevenson have a bunch of rushing yards, and they lost to the Patriots. Now you come out here last night, and do you realize that Jaden Daniels, this is his second game, and he has not given the ball up. Every possession has ended in a score. Do you
Who do you
realize
play last game? Who do you play the last game?
they played
Giants, all right.
the Giants, and so that was okay. They played the Giants. That was okay. It's the Giants. They're not, the Giants are the Giants. But for him to come out and do that to y'all, that's ridiculous. And then you got people on your team talking a bunch of trash and getting burnt during the game. Like it's a lot going on and a lot of egos on that Bengals team. And from what I see out of the defense, you're not gonna get anywhere. Because in the AFC especially, you have to have a defense. You have to. Because you're gonna have to play. You think Josh Allen's a contender, so you're gonna have to play a Josh Allen. You're gonna have to play a Mahomes. You're gonna have to play a Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. You can't look like this and expect to win those games. Joe Burrow can't get you out of every situation. Joe Burrow had a phenomenal game, some might say. He had a couple little mistakes here and there, none too costly because he had no turnovers. But to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they still lose, that's ridiculous. Not only that, to the Commanders, I know it's early on, it's week 3, and so people might be like, oh, they can get it together, they can get it together. No 0-3 team, I want to say, has ever made the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Only 6 of them.
Only 6.
It's 1979 or something like that. So that's
That's
not.
ridiculous. Right now, as it stands, they say they have like a 2 point something% chance of making it to the playoffs. That's not gonna happen. Mind you, you still have to play the Steelers twice. You still have to play the Ravens twice. And the way your defense is looking, Derrick Henry is gonna just run all over y'all, just like he did Dallas. It's not looking good, Cincinnati fans. And Jakari, I'm sorry to say this, but it's just not y'all year. I know you're excited having Joe Burrow coming back. Jamar Chase gonna be with y'all for the full season. It's just not y'all year, and it's only on the defense. Now, if y'all defense can somehow turn it around in the next 2 weeks, y'all be fine. But if they don't, because then they play the Ravens this week. No, they don't got the Ravens this week. They have the Ravens next
Panthers this week. Panthers this week and Ravens next week.
week. Ravens next week. If y'all can find a way to beat the Panthers, well, y'all should be able to beat the Panthers. Y'all beat the Panthers. Oh my gosh, #1 pick. I'm sorry, because that is just terrible. But if y'all can find a way to beat the Panthers and then turn around and beat Baltimore, then we can have a discussion. Maybe y'all turn it around. But I just don't see y'all beating Baltimore. I just don't. With the condition of your defense, it looks terrible.
It's
So,
terrible. It's terrible. It's
terrible.
the exact word you said. It's terrible. And real quick for y'all who don't know Jakari, that's our older brother, and he's a Cincinnati Bengals fan. So that's why Jared was shouting him out. But just a couple of numbers from the other night. The Commanders punted 0 times. Not once did the Bengals force them to punt the football. Jaden Daniels had a 91% completion percentage. I understand we want to give him credit for that. He played good. I'm not taking nothing from Jaden Daniels. I'm not. But it's because things were open. And it's because your secondary is not good. That's exactly why its completion percentage was 91%. Okay. And that's the highest in the game by a rookie ever. Okay. So they made history on y'all turf. Against the Giants, right? Who we said is bottom barrel cheeks, correct?
Bottom barrel.
They had the Commanders had 7 field goals against them and was 0 for 6 in the red zone when it came to touchdowns. So they got to the red zone, could not get a touchdown, only settled for field goals. Against the Giants, who we had no expectations for this year. Against the Bengals, who some of us had them as the biggest threat to Mahomes. Remember that? Remember you said that? Some of us had that. I had them in the tier where no injuries, no problem. Right? They should be a problem in the AFC or in the NFL. They gave up 4 touchdowns to the Commanders, and they went 3 for 3 in the red zone against Cincinnati. Think about that for a second. Like they made no stops. And what I heard, oh my goodness, I rarely watch First Take now because my show is First Things First. And I saw Shannon Sharp saying that Joe Burrow didn't do enough to win this game. Joe Burrow threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. There should be no conversation about Joe Burrow. The conversation is about how bad this defense is. And let's rewind the clock back to our episode we did after week 1 when they played against the Patriots, right? And I said, I'm looking at that panic button because y'all struggled against the Patriots offense, who has nothing. You saw what the Jets did to that offense the other night on Thursday Night Football?
Like 3 points, right?
The 3 points, right? The Bengals defense has never been a liability, right? They've always been average, right? Like they'll give up a couple points, but they don't get some stops, right? So they've never been elite. I'm not saying that, but they've never been this bad to where we got people praising Jaden Daniels. And one of the conversations on TV was, can the Commanders win the division? That was one of the conversations because of the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Y'all made the Commanders look like a world beater that night, which is ridiculous. And I said that after week 1, I'm worried about this defense, and now they have shown their true color. This defense is god awful. It just is. They made 0 stops. Joe Burrow played a great game that night. Normally, when Joe Burrow has 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, they win. But when he had those numbers and you still lose, and I look at the final score, you give 38 points to the Commanders. That's a problem. This team season is over. I don't care if they beat the Panthers because they're not going to beat the Ravens. I don't know if they're going to beat the Panthers because they can't stop anybody. You couldn't stop the Patriots week 1, right? You couldn't stop the Commanders this week. The Commanders are not a good team. Why is everybody coming out saying that? Oh, they can win the East. Oh, Jaden Daniels looked like he that guy. Nobody was saying this before this week, and they did it against y'all. So yes, the season's over, and they haven't even faced a toughest stretch yet. That's another problem. Like you said, they still got to play the Steelers twice, still got to play the Ravens twice. I don't care what you say, but the Browns have been good historically against the Bengals. Right, Browns have been good against the Bengals. There's a stretch where you got to play the Eagles, the Raiders, the Ravens, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Cowboys for what's that's worth. Then at the end of the season, you finish off with Browns, Broncos, Steelers. Moral of the story is I can't guarantee a win for this team. I can't. There's no, and in the NFL today, you know this better than anybody. There is no games where you can circle on the schedule and say, "Oh, we got that game." You can't do it no more.
At all.
You just can't. Jared, who did the Raiders lose to this week?
Andy Dalton.
The Panthers. Who did the Cleveland Browns lose to this week?
The Giants.
The Giants. And I know Raiders fans and I know Browns fans got up that morning saying, "Oh, we played the Panthers and the Giants. These are easy W's," and they lost. This season is it's not. I'm not gonna say it's very level, but it's very unpredictable. So what I'm saying is I can't look at the schedule and say, "Oh, the Bengals definitely gonna win that game." I can't do it because defensively they're terrible. Offense will give you what they're gonna give you. I even say after week one, I say eventually Joe Burrow gonna pick up. So I'm not worried about that side of the ball. I'm worried about the defense, and the defense showed their true colors on Monday night. All right, anything else you want to say about that? No, we can move on.
We can move on, man. That's just bad.
All right, let's go move down to the Big D in Dallas. All right, America's team is now 1-2 after losing to the Ravens. Jared gets Dallas in trouble.
That's another team whose season is over. It's done. Just, and it's for the same reasons. Just like, and it's even worse. Because just like Cincinnati, you can't stop nobody. You just can't. You let Derrick like the first 2 weeks, what I saw out of the Ravens offense, I was so like, this is not gonna work out. It's just not. And then y'all let Derrick Henry come out here and act like he was back in Tennessee, running all over y'all. I couldn't stop him. Y'all couldn't come up with the solution to the problem at all. You couldn't stop him. Michael Parsons, I don't know where you've been. I'm searching for him. I'm sitting on an Amber Alert. I don't know. I can't find him. Where is he at? Can't find him. Like he's supposed to be the y'all game wrecker and y'all playmaker, but he's not making plays.
Yeah,
He's
he's
not wrecking the game.
supposed to be the best edge rusher in the league or one of the best. Is what I hear.
And then you're losing games and you're going out here on podcasts talking about other teams. You need to worry about your own team. Years ago, people were flaming Draymond Green for recording podcast episodes after playoff losses and after they won that year. The year they were flaming him for that, they won that year. Michael Parsons is doing this, and your team looks terrible, man. And it's specifically your side of the ball. It's terrible. And yeah, people might say, "Oh, but Dallas almost came back. They almost came back." No, that's what Dallas does. If you saw how Dak Prescott played in the beginning of the game, that's not good enough. It's just not. And it's the same thing over and over again. Dak has these big, nice stats, these nice numbers that makes him look nice. No, it comes from when they go down big and they have to throw the ball every single play to get back into the game. It really, and a lot of the times it's garbage time stats. But it just so happened that the Ravens couldn't keep scoring because the Ravens were just trying to melt the clock. And so you got a couple stops. And so the Cowboys were able to find some life and they almost came back. But no, it just looks bad. After week one, you played the Browns and we saw how that game looked and y'all thought y'all was going to the Super Bowl. Heard nothing but Cowboys fans say y'all going to the Super Bowl. Y'all played the Browns. You played Deshaun Watson. I told y'all after week one, Deshaun Watson was like 0 for 10 on passes, 10 plus yards down the field. The man's not good. The Browns are not good. Okay? Week two, you came out here and Alvin Kamara, oh my gosh, that man had a field day. That man had a field day. I'm talking about he just touchdown over here, touchdown. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Y'all just handing this man touchdowns back to back to back to back. Couldn't stop him for nothing. And then Derrick Henry couldn't stop him. So the conclusion I'm coming to is your defense is soft. That's right, soft. Because you can't stop nobody's running game. It's ridiculous. It honestly is. You're getting manhandled in the box, and you're just letting them run down the field all over y'all. It looks bad, Dallas. It really does. Jerry Jones, it looks bad. It just does. And for a lot of people said that Derrick Henry was the perfect fit for Dallas. A lot of people said that Dallas should go get Derrick Henry. Jerry Jones, Derrick Henry showed you why you should have went and got him. But you don't. For some reason, you don't go and make free agency moves. You just don't. Your team didn't get better in the offseason, and it's showing. Y'all have been sitting here for years and years and years. Y'all haven't gone up. Y'all haven't gone down, but y'all are sitting here. When you're sitting here for years and teams are coming up and they're catching up to you, eventually it's gonna look like this. It really is. And mind you, like y'all look so bad that, like you said, people are talking about Jaden Daniels possibly winning the division. And it's somewhat because of how Jaden Daniels look, but it's also because of how bad y'all look. Okay? It's ridiculous. Like, honestly, if we're being honest, I could see the Giants beating them. I can see the Giants beating them at least one time. I can see the Commanders beating them at least one time. I have Philly sweeping them. I honestly do. Because, yes, Philly doesn't look good right now. Yes, Philly offense is struggling a little bit. But your defense is poo. Your defense is garbage. So Jalen Hurts is going to come alive when it comes to playing y'all. Y'all season's over, man. Y'all honestly, if I'm really if like I can be nice, say y'all might get a wild card spot, but the way it's looking right now, y'all just might have a top 12 pick. Like that's how bad it looks right now. Y'all gotta get it together or it's over.
Oh man, you took all the words out of my mouth. But real quick, funny story. Who did you the team that you played in fantasy in week 2? Then they have Alvin Kamara on it.
Man, like it don't make no. That man had 40 something points. It doesn't make sense. No running back should have 40 plus fantasy points at all.
Yeah, well, just to show you how bad, like you said, with this defense, word on the street the past couple of years being they can't stop the run. This year, they literally cannot stop the run against the Saints. Right in week 2, Derek Carr threw the ball 16 times. 16 times in today's NFL. He threw the ball 16 times, and Alvin Kamara had 20 carries from 115 and 3 touchdowns. Okay, against that run defense. Then against Lamar Jackson threw the ball 15 times. 15 times in today's NFL. And guess what? Derrick Henry had 25 carries from 151 and 2 touchdowns. Like, bruh, everybody knows you can't stop the run. They're literally saying we're not going to throw the ball. We're just going to run the football. And you know what happens whenever teams say that? You're going to be so dialed in on the run. You can be so dialed in on stopping the run. And guess what? Play action, ball over your head. We saw it with Derek Carr, Rashid Shaheed. We saw it. Play action, he's gone. Because y'all so focused on stopping the run. So I feel like this defense is in a bad spot right now because if I can't stop the run, I got to expect the run. And when I expect the run to hit with a play action, I'm cooked. What do I do? So the defense is bad, as you said, but I'm gonna go to the offensive side of the ball. Who's the running back in Dallas? I know the names, but when you go against Dallas, are you worried about the run game?
No.
Are you saying okay, we got to make sure we put 8 in the box a couple of times because they got this really good running back? Like Rico Dowdle is they I guess that's their main running back because he gets the most carries. But you got Ezekiel Elliott and Deuce Vaughn. Like nobody's worried about that, which means you're putting more pressure on Dak Prescott's hands to get the ball through the air. And who are you throwing the ball to other than CeeDee Lamb? Brandon Cooks, I'm not worried about Brandon Cooks anymore. I think he's past his prime. He make a couple plays every now and then, but he's not a threat. Right? Jake Ferguson, your tight end, that's it. To me, this Jerry Jones made no moves this offseason, and it's showing. Because offensively, what do you have outside of CeeDee Lamb that's really productive? You could have had Derrick Henry, like you said, which could have took some pressure off of Dak Prescott. Which means I'm playing Dallas Cowboys. Okay, should I stack the box with Derrick Henry and leave CeeDee Lamb 1-on-1? Or should I worry about CeeDee Lamb and then let Derrick Henry kill me? It would have been like very hard to defend that. But she didn't make any moves. Now you got Dak Prescott out here with the whole team on his back, and you know you can't do that. You made this man the highest paid quarterback, well, highest paid player in NFL history, knowing he can't carry a load, knowing that if he got to throw the ball a lot, he's going to throw picks, knowing that if you got to throw the ball a lot, you're not going to win games because he's not he he's a good quarterback, right? He can get the ball from point A to point B. I'm not saying he's bad, but in pressure moments, when you need him most, that's when he disappears. That's when he folds, right? So that's what you have at quarterback when you really need a quarterback that can carry the load because you don't have a run game. And outside of CeeDee Lamb, you have average at best weapons. Like this team is just not a good team. That's why I didn't have them making the playoffs this year
at all.
because they're not good. And they're showing me like the run game was a problem last year, but the run game is a big problem this year for the defense. So, and like you said the Giants might beat them one time. On my pick 'em, every piece of my heart wants to pick the Giants, but my brain is like, bro, it's the Giants. Like, there's no way Dallas gonna go in New York and lose this game.
Okay. Go ahead with that mentality. Okay. Hey, 90% of America picked the Bengals Monday night. 90% of America was wrong.
You're right. It is very unpredictable, but bruh, the Giants, dude, like I just can't see myself picking. I don't know. I ain't made the pick yet, but who knows? I might go with the Giants. I don't know because
Check
Dallas
this.
feels good.
Dallas fans, this is how you know your season's over. Next, you have the Giants. Then you have the Steelers. Then you have the Lions, 49ers, Falcons, Eagles, then the Texans. You're cooked. You are cooked. Because, mind you, every week, besides the Giants, after that, you play the Steelers. We're going to run the football.
Run the football.
We're going to run the football. And obviously, it's going to work. Then you play the Lions. They might have the best.
You go run the football too.
Jameer Gibbs, they're going to run the football. Then you play the 49ers.
Well, even without Christian McCaffrey,
Jordan with Chris McCaffrey don't matter. They're going to run the football on
they're
you.
gonna run the football.
Falcons, Bijan Robinson, they're going to run the football on you. Eagles, oh my, Saquon Barkley's finna have an Alvin Kamara game. He's finna have a field day. Lord have mercy. And then you play the Texans, who, oh my gosh, Joe Mixon. Yeah, Dallas, y'all are done. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm gonna be nice and say you beat the Giants just because they're the Giants. But after that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 games you're guaranteed to loss, and you're already 1-2. That means you're gonna be 2-8. Lord have mercy.
I can't disagree. Like you said, it's different whenever it's different when you have a bad defense and a really good offense because you just gonna go shot for shot and we gonna just run the score of every
Like,
game.
Daddy.
Like Cincinnati, but you don't even have Cincinnati's offense. Cincinnati defense is bad too, but at least they have an offense that you can rely on. I can't even rely on this offense to put up points, so they're in trouble. But last but not least, let's go ahead and talk about the best thing that we saw in week 3. Jerry, go ahead and kick this one off.
Man, when I saw week 3, it made me happy. It lifted up my spirits. To see Malik Willis go against Tennessee, go into Tennessee, and get the win. It made me happy. Malik Willis. That's somebody they drafted. They drafted Malik Willis, not so 3 years ago, 3 drafts ago. So like this past draft, 2 would be the last one, and then 3. 3 drafts ago, they drafted Malik Willis, and like that was gonna be their quarterback. But then he had some struggles from when you did see him on the field early on, and then you turned around in the very next draft, you drafted Will Levis. It made no sense to me whatsoever. That was just a waste of a pick. That's like a dead draft. That's like if we said that we drafted Kenny Pickett, and in the very next draft you drafted another quarterback. Like, it just doesn't make sense at all, like at all. And so you had both of them on the roster at the same time, and you chose Will Levis. Will Levis leads the league in turnovers now. Will Levis is making stupid mistake after mistake after mistake, and it looks bad. And of course, it's not all on Malik Willis. I mean, not all on Will Levis, but he looks bad. And Malik Willis, he went over there in Green Bay with Matt LaFleur, and it looks like he got a second chance. It honestly does. Like, if I'm a team, when Jordan Love comes back, if I'm Miami, I just might call it down and see, hey, can we borrow him for the rest of the season? Like, he's giving himself another opportunity to go out here and be the quarterback for another organization. it made me feel good, because you got did wrong by the Titans, come back and you have a good game against the Titans. And then that defense, they had his back, and Lord have mercy, that defense was just killing Tennessee. So yeah, that really brought some joy. He got his little get back, that brought a smile to my face. So obviously that's the best thing I saw in week 3.
Hey, you're not lying. And shout out to Matt LaFleur for changing our view on Malik Willis, right? Like we still don't think he's all that, but he's definitely way better than he was in Tennessee. I think it's because of Matt, and that's also a team that when Jordan Love went down, a lot of people wrote them off. And me saying that the Packers would go a little far this year, I didn't say inch championship, but I said divisional round. I got a little nervous too because of Malik Willis. Like, what is he gonna bring to y'all? But Matt LaFleur definitely did a good job with him. I'm gonna go down to LA and I'm gonna talk about the Rams. Look, the Rams, man, like Sean McVay, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for him. Like, there's one coach that I really feel bad for is him because he's had to deal with Cooper Kupp injuries since Cooper Kupp been in the league almost. Right, Cooper Kupp is always hurt. And then going into this year, finally had an off season with no injuries, nobody's hurt. Right, of course, he had an old lineman that got suspended, but the first game of the season, Puka goes down. The old line started getting just falling, like just dropping like flies. The whole old line was almost hurt in the first game, and two of them not even back yet. I think the whole left side is gone. Then to go 0-2, this is a must-win game. Like you said, 0-3 teams don't really make the playoffs ever, right? Then to go against the 49ers, even though the 49ers are missing Debo, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey, you're still outmanned because the 49ers have a good defense. Right. And then on top of that, you saw Kyle Shanahan with the run game with Jordan Mason. And I underestimated how bad this Rams defense was going to be. They're terrible. Like I thought they was going to be able to make timely stops. And even after week 1 against the Lions, I thought they would be able to not allow teams to run the score up. But they gave like 41 points to the Cardinals in week 2. Like this defense is bad. And Brock Purdy was having a field day. He had 292 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jawan Jennings.
Man, wait, 1 second. Man, let me tell y'all something. Every single week, the player that has the best week, I go against in fantasy. It makes no sense. This man had 40 points by himself. 40 points by it. I don't know, man. It's really getting ridiculous at this point. I think somebody conspiring against me because I don't know why I always got to go get somebody that's going to go off in fantasy.
Dude, Jawan Jennings had 11 catches, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's how bad this secondary is. Okay, this Rams defense is not good, and I underestimated it. I thought they would be okay, but they're terrible. And for them to be down multiple scores in this game at one point and come back and win this game at the end 27-24 without Puka, without Cooper Kupp, O-line still beat up. And the best thing about it, to me, that really impressed me how I watched that game, is that Sean McVay stayed with the run. He kept running the ball. He did not stop. Like, I'm thinking, okay, you're down multiple scores. Matthew Stafford got to start airing it out, and whoever out there has got to go catch balls. But you stuck with the run. And Kyron Williams had a big day on Sunday versus the 49ers. Kyron Williams had only 89 yards on 24 carries, but 2 touchdowns. So he had a good game, even going against a team where, guess what? We're going to stack the box and stop Kyron Williams. Because who you got out here to catch the ball? You see what I'm saying? So Sean McVay stuck with the run, and they was able to win this game, bro. I honestly, if Mahomes and Andy Reid wasn't in this league, Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford would be the best head coach quarterback duo, hands down, no question there. Because they figure out a way. Even whenever the chips are stacked against them, they figure out a way. And if they can keep their head above water till Puka and Cooper get back, they're gonna be a problem again. Right? So I gotta give a shout out to the Rams for pulling off this big upset against the 49ers. And to end this episode real quick, Jared don't even know about this. I'm gonna give a couple of shout outs to some coaches out there who I think who had a really good showing in week 3. All right. One of the coaches I give a shout out to is Cliff Kingsbury Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay. Cliff, you put together a great game plan. All right. You made Jaden Daniels look special because he was the talk of the night. And I think you did a really good job. And you're not getting enough credit. I think all the credit is going to Jaden, but you did a great job. And mind you, the Commanders don't have that many weapons on their offense. So for him to be doing that, you're doing a really good job. I got to give credit. to Arthur Smith. Right. Justin Fields is getting more and more comfortable in their offense, right? And the run game is coming along more and more. And then we're the one thing about this year and last year, I see open receivers this year. When Calvin Austin scored, he was open. Let the ball to him, let him go make move, let him go make a move and go score.
Literally.
Players are open. You know what I'm saying? So gotta give a shout out to Arthur Smith. We already know it's Sean McVay, but Matt LaFleur. Like I said, your QB went down. Y'all just paid all that money to Malik Willis. You've made him look startable. Like Jerry said, you might get that man a job somewhere else because of how you revived him. All right. But that is it for my coaching shout outs. And that is also it for the Straight to the Point podcast. All right. We'll see y'all next week. And I'll see y'all Saturday with my picks for week 4. We out.